Hello everybody, I'm Shruti Ramanujam from the Exchange Reporter Plus team of Manage Engine. Thank you very much for joining today's session. This is the second in a series of workshops on how you can effectively use Exchange Reporter Plus to report on your Exchange environment. Over the course of this workshop, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. You can shoot them out through the chat box at the right side of your screen. We'll be getting back to you with the solutions at the end of the session. Let's have a quick recap of what we saw in the previous workshop. We saw how you can use Exchange Reporter Plus to identify the top 10 mailboxes by their sizes and growth. We saw how you can get real-time alerts when mailboxes reach their size limits. We saw how you can find inactive mailboxes based on their last logon time, how you can list out users based on the permissions applied on particular mailboxes, how you can find out sizes of mailbox databases, public folder databases, server size, and the growth of these entities over a period of time. And we were also able to list out often or disconnected mailboxes and their size. In today's workshop, we will be learning about the auditing solution of Exchange Reporter Plus. You can use this functionality to track, audit, and report on unauthorized or accidental mailbox logon attempts, critical changes to mailbox permissions or properties, and any changes to your Exchange databases. That said, let us now look at the agenda for today's workshop. At the end of this workshop, you can easily discover which users in your organization accessed other users' mailboxes using Exchange Reporter Plus. You can get detailed reports on mailboxes that have been activated, deactivated, or moved. You'll be able to configure customized reports, and you will also be able to track changes to server configuration, such as hub transport changes or changes to your send and receive connectors. You'll be able to audit permission changes on mailboxes, such as changes to your send as permission and full access permission. You'll be able to find out database changes, such as circular logging changes, and you will also know how to receive instant notifications when an Exchange database is mounted or dismounted. Over the course of this workshop, I will be using a lab setup. It's called admp.cloudapp.net, the port number, which is 8181. I will also be sending you this link over chat so that you can play around with the product along with me. The credentials to log in will also be shared with you over chat. I'll also give you a minute so that you can log into the product too, along with me. Hope you've all logged in. The reports that will help you out in performing the tasks for today can all be found under the Audit tab of Exchange Reporter Plus. All reports pertaining to the auditing of an Exchange environment are neatly provided under the Audit tab. This tab has two categories. We have the audit reports and the advanced audit reports. With the reports available under this tab, you can get real-time audit data on all mailbox logins, permission changes, and property changes. You can easily detect any unauthorized access that goes against your organization's security policy using the reports available under this tab. Say you want to find out when a person who does not own a mailbox, a non-owner, logs on to someone else's mailbox. This could be authorized, or this could also be someone just snooping around the mailboxes in your organization. So for that, you would use the non-owner mailbox logon report. Or when you want to track permission changes in your organization, you could use the three reports available under the mailbox permission changes category. Changes to mailbox properties, such as mailboxes that were activated, deactivated, or moved, can be found easily using the reports available under the property changes category. And changes to your database, such as if the database was mounted or dismounted, can also be found using these two reports. And changes to server configuration, such as changes to your send connector or your receive connector, or changes to hub transport settings, can be found by using the reports available under Exchange Database Changes category. The next category is the advanced audit reports. And what could be the difference between the audit reports and the advanced audit reports? Audit reports show the result of server-based auditing, which is from the event log. And in the advanced audit reports, you can see the results of running PowerShell scripts. The PowerShell scripts are run and the reports are displayed easily so that you don't have to remember any PowerShell scripts anymore. For example, let us take the non-owner mailbox logon report present in the audit reports category. And if you have 2013 or 2016 servers in your organization, this report will not bring up details for these servers. In that case, you would use the report available under the advanced audit reports category called the non-owner activity on a mailbox. Under this category, there are two types. There's the mailbox audit logging and admin audit log reports. When you want to see an admin's activity on a mailbox or a delegate's activity or the owner activity on a mailbox, you can use the mailbox audit logging category and the reports that fall under it to do so. And once again, changes to server configuration settings such as send and receive connector changes, circular logging and hub transport settings changes can be found using the reports under the admin audit log category. With the auditing solution of Exchange Reporter Plus, you get not just plain reports. If you look at the left side of your screen, you can see 4 buttons. The first, that is the alerts button, will help you configure real-time alerts to get instant notifications on events that require immediate action. Using the archived configuration functionality, you can get the data gets archived when it goes beyond a certain period. You can also easily re-archive when needed. Using report configuration, you can create, customize, and schedule reports for your organization. Using audit configuration, you can ensure that all your audit reports get populated properly and that no event goes unnoticed in your organization. Let's quickly look at audit configuration. So you can see the server-based auditing. Based on server-based auditing, you can see that the configuration is done properly. You can check it out for mailbox-based auditing. And when it is based on your domain, that is also configured properly and the admin audit log is also done. So now that we know all your reports are going to be populated properly, we can go ahead and look at the first task for today. The first task that we will be performing is this. We will find out the users who accessed other users' mailboxes. Many a times, you may wish to find out when users other than mailbox owners try and log on to a particular mailbox. Your mailboxes may contain corporate information and other confidential data that you wouldn't want to get into the hands of a less than faithful person. If this happens, it could lead to fatal errors and several policy violations. In order to easily detect this unauthorized access to confidential data, you can use the non-owner mailbox logon report of Exchange Reporter Plus. This report can be found, once again click on the audit tab, it can be found under the mailbox logon category. It is called the non-owner mailbox logon report. The report is getting generated and for a particular period, by default the period set is today, and you can see that for today these are the mailboxes which have had non-owners such as the caller user name is listed out, the user who tried to log on to a mailbox that was not his own. You can see the email ID of the mailbox, the server name and the time at which this non-owner logon happened. Using this, you can quickly get information on all non-owners who gained excessive rights to access other users' mailboxes. Then you can take a judgment call on whether this was authorized or unauthorized and proceed similarly. And this helps ensure safety of mailbox data in your organization. The next question that can be resolved using Exchange Reporter Plus is this. How do you get detailed reports on mailboxes that have been activated, deactivated, or moved in your organization? Sometimes you may wish to find out all the mailboxes that were created for new Exchange users. You may want to audit deactivated mailboxes too. And as we all know, once a mailbox is deactivated, based on its retention period, it will be deleted from the database. Deleting a mailbox deprives the user from accessing their mailbox. This deletion of a mailbox could have been accidental or intentional. It is always good to track all the mailboxes that were deactivated. Another change to property, that is mailbox moves, these happen all the time in an organization. A user may have moved to a new location, So his mailbox may be moved to a server closer to his location. It could also have happened because of an Exchange server migration. And or the move could have taken place to allocate more space for a mailbox. Auditing mailbox moves is important to ensure that such moves are performed by users with rightful privileges. Whatever be the reason, comprehensive information on mailboxes that have been activated, deactivated, or moved in an Exchange environment can be easily obtained through the reports of Exchange Reporter Plus. The report that we're looking for comes under the mailbox property changes category. So if you look at the left pane, there's a category called mailbox property changes report. Click on it, and if you scroll down, there are 3 reports available for each of these 3 property changes. Let us first look at the mailboxes which have been activated over a particular period of time. This shows all the mailboxes in your organization. It lists out the name of the mailbox, the caller username, as in the user who brought about the change, the server name, and the time at which the mailbox was activated. The mailbox deactivated report lists out all the mailboxes that were deactivated over a particular period of time. So the default period set here is today. And for that, you can once again see the caller username, the mailbox name, the server name, and the time at which the change happened. Mailbox moved report is also like this. So it is once again going to show you the name of the mailbox, the old server name, and other details about the mailbox move that happened in your organization. So the old server name, it shows your caller user and caller domain name, the email ID. So a comprehensive set of information is obtained for the property changes that have happened to mailboxes in your organization. And not just this, you could add this report. By clicking on add to, you can make this report a favorite report of yours. You could export it to any one of these 4 formats, that is CSV, PDF, XLS, or HTML. You could print out the report, or you could schedule this report to be generated at a particular time of the day, and you can also schedule it in such a way that you get email notifications of the report at a particular time of the day. The third task that we will be performing today is this. How can you create customized reports using Exchange Reporter Plus? As I mentioned previously, Exchange Reporter Plus allows you to customize reports to suit your needs. One of the audit reports that we have available is the Mailbox Storage Quota Changes report. This report tracks and displays the recently modified mailbox quota limits along with their old and new values of the mailbox quota. With this report, it becomes possible to not just keep track of the modifications made, but also on the users who did such modifications and other details about the users. This helps in detecting users who made excessive changes to mailbox properties. These unauthorized changes can have consequences like prohibiting sending or receiving of mails or preventing a voicemail from being delivered correctly to a UM-enabled user. This smells trouble, especially when it is a higher official or an executive who is not getting his messages. To avoid this, you can use the report configuration functionality of this product. Let us first look at the storage quota changes report. Since this is a change in the property of a mailbox, it can once again be found under the mailbox properties changes report. So the mailbox storage quota changes report is the report that we're looking for just now. For the period of today, it lists out mailboxes that have undergone a change in storage quota. It lists out the caller username, the name of the mailbox, the server name, the time at which the change happened, the attribute that was modified, and any specific remarks about it, and the new value and old value. So having just this report is not enough. What about when you want to know if any storage quota changes have happened for a specific set of mailboxes? Exchange Reporter Plus helps you out with that too. So you can do this by using the report configuration functionality of Exchange Reporter Plus. It is present in the left pane at the bottom. So click on report configuration. So we are creating a new report. We are adding a new report. So click on the add new report button. The name of the report it's up to you, so let's just call it storage quota changes. I'm gonna say specific mailboxes. Select the category. This comes under the properties changes, so let's select that. And for report actions, so this is for quota changes. So we will be selecting mailbox quota modified for both 2003 and 2008. And you can select the target mailbox, that is the specific mailboxes for which you want to monitor storage quota changes. So let me quickly select maybe 5 mailboxes from this list. Okay, click on OK. And for caller username, this decides when there are changes made to these 5 target mailboxes, you can decide the users using the caller username category. As in the users that are selected using this button, if they make any changes to the mailboxes that you have selected, the specific mailboxes will be known. For now, I'm just going to select all the users available in this list. Click on OK. And if you click create, so this report is created and the data generated in this report would be about changes made to the particular 5 mailboxes that I've selected by any of the users that we chose under the caller username category. And this is how you can easily track any changes made to the important mailboxes in your organization using Exchange Reporter Plus. Let us now look at the next task for today's workshop. Yeah, so how are we going to track and audit server configuration changes such as changes to your hub transport settings or changes to your connectors, the send and receive connectors? If your Exchange environment has multiple administrators, it is always good to check on who made changes to what configuration component. This makes troubleshooting so much easier in the future should any problem arise. Auditing server configuration changes is also extremely beneficial when it comes to adhering to regulatory compliance policies or other legal requirements. You can view changes to hub transport settings using the Hub Transport Settings Changes report. This is found under the Exchange Database Changes Reports category in the last report, Hub Transport Settings. Once we click on that, it lists out all the changes that were made to hub transport settings and more specific details about it. So you can see the caller username, the user who brought about the change, the timestamp for when the change happened, the attribute that was modified is also listed out here, any specific remarks, and the new value and old value are also listed out here. Say suddenly you have certain message routing issues in your organization. You need to check out if any send or receive connectors have been reconfigured while you are troubleshooting this. And who wants to remember PowerShell scripts to do that? So instead of that, you could just pull up the send and receive connector report which is present under the audit tab again. And this shows not just what the modification was, but also who made the modification, as in every audit report here. So you can see the name of the connector, you can see the action performed, whether the connector was created, whether an attribute was modified, or if the connector was removed. You can see the timestamp for when the change to your send or receive connectors happened. You can see who made the modifications, that is the caller username. You can see the attributes modified and once again new and old values and any remarks about what exactly happened. So this is how you find out if any changes have been made to server configuration components such as your connector level changes or hub transport changes using Exchange Reporter Plus. The next task for today is this. How do you find out if any permission changes occurred on mailboxes? How do you find out exactly what went down while making the changes? How do you find out who made the changes? And other questions like this. We know that mailbox permissions are the gateway to accessing sensitive information. Only trusted delegates are usually given send as or full access permission. If an unwanted person gains access to your important mailboxes, they could delete your messages, they could forward your messages, and they could indulge in other unsavory activities. It is highly imperative to make sure that no one other than owners or trusted delegates have permissions over mailboxes in your organization. Exchange Reporter Plus has 3 nifty little reports with which you can not only track the permission changes over mailboxes, but you can also get real-time alerts each time a change is made. These reports can be found under the Mailbox Permissions Changes Reports category. So these are the 3 reports. Using Mailbox Permission Changes, you can see if any changes are made to the full access and read-write permissions over mailboxes in your organization. Mailbox send as permission changes is pretty self-explanatory. It is about changes to send as permission over mailboxes. And a combination of these two is performed using the overall mailbox permission changes report. So that is the report we will be looking at now. So in the period that is set today, this lists out if any permission changes have happened today. So it shows your caller username, it shows the mailbox name, the server name, the time at which the permission change happened, the attribute which was modified, and remarks about any access control entries that were added, and the new and old values. So you can click on this link, the more link, to see exactly what permission was there before and how exactly it was modified later on. Let us take the second row and look at what permissions were present initially. So initially these were the permissions that were present for this user. And if this was the old value. And if you look at the new value, okay, this is empty, so I'm going to go with some other user. So these were the old values for the first user. And when you look at the new value, you can compare the old and new value to find out if any. We weren't scrolling for this long in the old value column, and now you can see that more permissions have been added, and you can see if these are all unwanted and if there are any unwanted permission changes or if they were made fully intentionally, and you can take a judgment call and decide if this was an unsavory permission change and if someone is snooping around over the mailboxes in your organization. So this is how you use Exchange Reporter Plus to immediately find out not just what the modification was to the permission change, you can also see who made the permission changes. So if anyone has been taking cookies from a jar that is not theirs, you'll know. The next task that we will be performing today is this. You will learn how to audit changes to your databases, such as circular logging changes. Once again, in a multi-administrator environment, it becomes necessary to track changes to any and all server configuration components. In order to track circular logging changes, you can use the circular logging changes report of Exchange Reporter Plus. I'll switch to the product screen. This is found under the Exchange Database Changes Reports category. Scroll down and the report is called Circular Logging Changes. And this lists out all the changes that were made to the circular logging setting of databases in your organization. The default period set here is today, but we can see that there have been no changes that were made today. The other settings that we have available are yesterday, this week, this month, the last month, last 30 days, last 7 days, and also a custom period which you can assign using this button. So I'm going to go with last 30 days. This lists out the name of the database, the type of the database, the server name, the timestamp which shows when exactly the change to your circular logging setting was made, and the action such as if circular logging was disabled or if it was enabled. So let us now look at the final topic for today. We will be learning how you can receive instant notifications when an Exchange database is mounted or dismounted. As we all know, Exchange Information Store is the storehouse of all Exchange mailboxes. Any accidental change to your Exchange databases can have costly effects. It is therefore necessary to continuously monitor all changes to your Exchange stores and get real-time alerts for each and every change. This way, you can determine if any store changes were accidental or if they were intentional. You can list out all the databases that have been mounted or dismounted by using the reports present under the Exchange Database Changes category. Once again, so scroll to the top and there are two reports. You have the Exchange Databases Mounted report, which is for all the Exchange databases which were mounted over a custom period that you set or the default period that is set here. So you can see that there have been no changes that were created to the Exchange databases today. I'm going to go with last 30 days. This lists out the name of the database, the type of database, the action, which is obviously going to be that the store was mounted, the server name, and the time at which this happened. The Exchange database's dismounted report is similar to this. It once again lists out the name of the database and the action that was performed, the type of the database, and the timestamp. Unexpected dismounting of stores can deny access to mailboxes for thousands of users. And to be notified immediately once a change occurs, you can configure alerts. So just getting this report is not enough. We need an alert every time a database in your organization is being mounted or dismounted. So you can use the alerts functionality present on the left pane. Click on it. So we're creating a new alert. So on the top right corner, you can see the new alert profile button. Click on that button. And we can create a new alert for this. Let's call it database mount and dismount. I'll copy paste this as the description too. There are 3 severity levels that Exchange Reporter Plus offers for the alerts. So you have critical, trouble, and attention. I'm going to go with critical for this alert. You can select the report for which you want to be alerted every time a change is made. Since these reports fall under the database changes category, let's select Exchange Database Changes reports. Click on Exchange Databases Mounted and Exchange Databases Dismounted. And let's click on OK. You can also select the message here. So we want the message to be something along the lines of this database underwent this change at this time. So in order to do that, let's type in the database. Using macros, you can select store name. So when you put this macro, it lists out the name of the database that underwent a change. So the database, the name of the database was, and you can select store operation, which will either be mounted or dismounted. So that will be filled in here when you type in this macro. And you want the time at which this change happened. So let's put at and the time generated macro and a full stop. So this is the message you will get when you are alerted when a database in your organization is mounted or dismounted. Now, when you want an email notification, click on the email notification checkbox and you can enter in your email ID. I'll enter in mine. You can enter a subject for this. So I'm going to call it database mount / dismount alert or anything. So you can have any kind of subject that you want. You can customize the message that you will receive when you are alerted. And once everything is finalized, you can click on create. Okay, so I cannot use this. So once you click on create, the alert profile is created and you will be notified each time a change happens in your Exchange databases. That is, if they are mounted or dismounted, you will definitely know. Let's have a quick recap of today's workshop to see what we saw during the session. We saw how you can use Exchange Reporter Plus to list out all the users who accessed other users' mailboxes. We saw how you can get detailed reports on property changes of mailboxes in your organization. We saw how you can customize reports, and we specifically saw it for the storage quota changes reports of your organization. We saw how you can track server configuration changes. We saw how you can audit permission changes on mailboxes. We saw how you can monitor circular logging changes. And we also saw how you can receive instant notifications when an Exchange database is mounted or dismounted. In the next workshop, which will be held at the same time next Wednesday on the 12th of October, we will be learning how you can use Exchange Reporter Plus for monitoring your organization's Exchange environment. We will be looking at how you can use this product to monitor Exchange services, storage, email queue, mail flow health, client connectivity health such as ActiveSync, OWA, IMAP connectivity, and so on. At the end of this session, I will be sending you a feedback form. Do fill it in and send it back to us. If you'd like us to cover any specific topics in the subsequent workshops, feel free to add them in. And if you have any questions that you'd like answered, do email us and we will get back to you immediately. See you guys next workshop. Until then, thank you.